So shout out to Alicia Keys, because she was really like my first real inspiration behind music. So yeah.
A story about, well, this isn't a story about Alicia Keys, but it has to do with Alicia Keys. These talent shows that I would tell you about. There's this person, and they did No One, but it was a cappella. Doing stuff a cappella gets old.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing you did the whole song. And now, mind you,
you hear people coughing.
The
performance.
She stuck with it, but that was I think that was kind of when I was over. I feel like I was kind of already over them, but I'm like.
The talent shows?
Talent shows, yeah. Because I'm doing, because I'm not winning. I'm not winning. And, I'm doing gigs, I'm doing, gigs sort of things where, things that I feel like I'm learning actual, like Marvin Gaye, Steve, I'm learning that caliber of music. And you're coming in here, not necessarily, and, you're, doing this tap dancing stuff, and, you're singing, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Fine, but I'm bro,
come on.
I really do this.
Be so for real.
I really do this.
Yeah.
But I remember that specifically. She sang No One a cappella, and I'm like, ugh. After verse 2, I'm like, we're still here. We're still here. I'm like, man, no one got you a track. You couldn't.
No. And for me, when I was in school, it wasn't the a cappella thing, but it was everybody was doing stuff to the cup song thing. You remember that?
This is what movie is this? Pitch Perfect?
Yes.
I didn't.
Pitch Perfect
I never
era.
watched Pitch Perfect when it came out.
I still have never seen it.
Yeah.
But that was the thing. That was the fad. Everybody thought they could sing. It was either that or the Attitude ukulele. Everybody played stuff on the ukulele, the 4-chord, just Somewhere Over the Rainbow, just dun 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 dun. Because this is Jason Mraz era. This is Bruno, early Bruno era. So everybody's got a ukulele and they want to play and sing. So that was the talent show gripe I had. It was all that, and nobody ever really sounded good. But it was cute,
I mean, it's cute, but hey, where are they at today? They're not.
Where are they? They're not. You're not musicians. Yeah.
But maybe
This is what one of my mentors, Phil Davis, would call paying your dues. Paying your dues. I mean, it comes in all different shapes and sizes. Anything that you do in your career that you don't want to do, or that you feel like it shapes you, you've paid your dues. And I learned that more and more every single day.
Got you. No, it makes sense. It makes sense because my dad and Tyrone have said the same thing.
It is what it is.
When I've had, now I'm past the point of doing them now, but doing gigs at just these gigs, it's just you can't say no because who are we to say no to money? But it's just
you got to know your worth.
You got to pay your dues. And now
pay your dues.
It was that sort of vibe.
Yeah, and I'm just happy that I was able to get that stuff out of the way because I started really hitting the scene my senior year of college, and so I got through all the showcases where they have 12 people on the roster that all do 2 original songs with the tracks. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. We're not gonna say the name, but I would play those shows.
Yeah.
Oh, let me tell you about being the house. The
house band is the worst for that.
In playing those shows.
Yeah.
Because the songs that they ask for, and this is when I'm in college, so I know songs now, and if I need to, I can listen to a song and I can pick it up pretty quick. But this is after it took me a minute to get good on the R&B scene. The first R&B club gig that I played, I bombed. I bombed it. I bombed it.
Okay, because at the point that you're doing gigs professionally, what is your genre mainly?
So it's usually R&B or jazz, but there would be so this was before I would get a set list of songs, or these were prepared shows that required rehearsals.
Gotcha.
So the first R&B gig that I real R&B gig that I did in Atlanta. Brian Johnson, bass player, dope. He plays with Akon. He's played with Carrie Hilson. He's played with Kiara Sheard.
Cool.
But he's super dope. But the first one, he hit me up the night before. And it was a list of 20, 30 songs. And but I had to play another gig that day. I didn't really have time to but it's 12 a.m. that he texted me. I'm I'm about to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So I go there and half the stuff I kind of know, and then half the stuff I'm So that gig, that was one of those gigs. I'm like, if you don't pay me, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But that was like my sophomore year in high school, and then like I gradually. So now I can do those R&B.
Because you just can't. You'll never allow yourself to be that trash again.
Bro.
Like it's embarrassing. Yeah.
That was one of those ones.
So it's like hell, if I do come out the house sounding like this again, like it's over. So you just refuse to sound that trash. You just have no choice but to get good.
I bombed. But yeah, so but it was a great lesson. It was a great lesson.
And that's what you need. Some of those. You definitely need some of those.
But that so now I can do, and so now there are like standards of like R&B club songs that you should know. So like mostly, oh yeah, it's gonna be an R&B club gig. If I get the list, most likely I don't need to learn anything because most of these I've already played. Maybe I need to listen to like two.
Yeah.
Like other than that, like I know them. But anyways, at these like showcase open mic night sort of deals, like these singers would come up to me, or like I'd get the list and I'd be like, or no, they come up to me before it's time for them to come up. It's like, oh, do you know like this one B-side Ashanti song that like it's not the single, it's not the
remix,
it's like but can you play it like that? And I'm like,
they only released it in Japan.
But it'd be like but it's like a song, and I'm like, and it has something crazy going on, or something that like, but I have to learn it like in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, stop doing that.
Yeah.
So it's either that or
do crazy.
Do you know, or
crazy, do crazy,
or do crazy, or on and on.
The Way,
Loves Me, The Way, any of those. Yeah. So it's like, so that
Pick Your Poison.
that got annoying.
Pick Your Poison.
That got annoying. So it was all of that, and then sometimes it was. Some of these tracks that these people be singing on, it's just like it's just hi-hat, and like I don't have to. So these are the songs that I don't need to play. But like the track is just like it's 2 chords, hi-hat, maybe a clap. There's no up and down. There's no nothing. I'm like,
it's a loop,
and it is the slow sad girl R&B.
The Summer Walker.
We love Summer Walker though.
Well, yeah, shout out Summer Walker.
Shout out to Stocks and
shout out Stocks, yeah,
and Larry Lambert and all of them. But it's just like all of it is that slow.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And then like there'd be 6 more people on the lineup.
Yep.
Guys. Those gigs,
I'm glad we graduated from those.
I'm done being in the house band for those sorts of.
So I was never in the house band. I was always the artist. And, you know, I do sympathize with you guys because you just be getting a whole bunch of mess. And people have attitudes. Like, I've seen sometimes, like, people have attitudes.
How can you not know this song? I'm like, yo, this is track 9 on this app. Like, I don't know every single, like, come on, yo.
Be for
like,
real.
Man.
Be for real.
And you're mad at me. And, like, and then you didn't even do the whole, I'm good on those gigs.
I have to say, I did that to backstage, though, because when I did my showcase thing there, I had them learn, like, it wasn't super obscure, but it was kind of like an obscure B-side Janet Jackson song.
But you didn't go up to them the day
Not the day of. We had a rehearsal.
So, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. You sent in your
list. That's true. They had, like, a week.
That's different. You sent in your list.
Yeah.
And these are the songs that I'm doing. That's fine. I'm talking about like, hey, I go up next. Do you know this song?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
What you did was fine. That's actually okay.
That's true. That's true. Because people, yeah. I don't, honestly like, but again, building character. I was in a situation over the summer where I had to learn like 3 new songs every single day. This was the summer that I learned my number system because there's no way I'm gonna be up all night trying to learn these songs. It's like
get you a cheat sheet.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I got to the point where I'm listening to stuff in the car. Okay, 1, 4, 5. Like once you have that, like you are good. I realized that. I'm like, man, okay, I think I can really do this now. Because before I was spending so much time learning the songs. Running stuff back, listening to it over and over again. And it's one thing to when you have a gig, you need to sound like the record.
Yeah.
But it's just like when you need to play the song, just get it out and make it sound somewhat. Number system always prevails.
Yeah. So what's the worst thing to happen to you on a gig? All right, here we go.
This was a gig. I love telling this story because... Well, wait, what is the worst thing? Okay, I'll tell the first one. So I did a gig over the summer in Blue Ridge, Georgia. It was a wine. It was like a beer and jazz or wine and jazz festival, and we had rehearsed this gig. It was with this new smooth jazz artist, and we had rehearsed this gig for almost a month. He was like just coming into the scene, so he wasn't the most confident in what we were all doing. And it was like we had the band was straight. It was me, Xavier Jones, Ryan Kilgore, Shanitha, what's that guy's name? The percussion player, not Frankie, but shoot, I can't remember his name. But anyway, it was a solid group of musicians, and we'd rehearsed for like 3 weeks straight. Every single week we would have a rehearsal, learning his music because it was a lot of original stuff. And we got to a point where, you know, it was solid. We get to the gig, and somehow or another the word gets around. He finds out, the guy, the smooth jazz artist, he finds out that I do my own stuff. Like I sing and I play and I write and all that. So somebody showed him my music. He was like, the day of the gig, we're in the green room. He's like, so I heard some of your original stuff. It's pretty good. I said, thank you. He was like, so have you ever performed that stuff live or done it like in front of an audience? And I was like, yeah, I've done that before. It's no big deal. He was like, okay, cool. So we get to the show, and it's halfway through the show. I have a couple of songs on this gig that I'm singing too.
Okay.
So after I finished the one song that I sang, he was like, I'm getting ready to go back to play keys. And he's like, well, wait, stay right there, because how many of you know that this young lady also has her own music? She also does this, that. And I was like, okay, where is he going with this? I'm looking around. I'm like, yeah. I was literally like 1 foot back. My back was turned to the audience. I was gone because I didn't really want to sing in the first place, but it was one of those things I was voluntold. So, you know, whatever. But he was like, yeah, she has her own stuff out on Apple Music and stuff. How about we play one? And so he gave my song to the engineer on aux. He's playing it like on YouTube or something. So it's not even like he has the track.
It's not even the instrumental.
It's not the instrumental. It's just the track. I can't hear, right? Because the way that this venue was set up, I didn't have ears, and I'm hearing what is coming back from the house. Like
So you weren't hear. There were no monitors up there.
I can't hear anything, like at all.
This is
and
worse.
I'm in the he put me on the spot. I'm looking around like, does anybody see what's going on? But nobody knew. Like he just decided on a whim that I was gonna sing my original song. So I just had to stand up there and sing to the track that had my vocals on it already and act like I knew I was supposed to be up there doing it. That was terrible. Then
that's terrible. Oh, there's more.
There's more. I don't know what it was about this particular gig. I've never gotten this before in my life, but once we got done with the gig, everybody was coming up to me saying that they enjoyed it. So fine, okay. Then they want to tell me that I sound like Erykah Badu. I don't know why everybody was saying that. Like now you're just saying like
R&B female. There we go.
Exactly, Erykah Badu. Like was the first person.
Like you couldn't have made like a little bit more of a comparison?
Nope.
Like just a little bit closer?
You know who you sound like? Minnie Riperton. Just whoever. You know? Like just anybody, the female that sings R&B. Like, and that was pretty bad. That was probably like my worst.
That's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah. I've never like tanked on a gig because I have this thing where I can't not know the music. So like I would never like accept a gig and not know the music or just like completely fumble it. Like I would find a sub before that happens. I just can't do it. Something will not allow me. But that was like the most embarrassing thing ever.
That's a bad thing to happen on a gig. That's a bad, because
nobody knew. I'm looking at Ryan. I'm looking at Xavier. I'm like, bro, what happened?
And Zay's like,
he's like, bro. I'm like, y'all.
Are they trying to play along to it too, or it's just like?
No, they left me hanging. Like,
but like, what are they really supposed to do? They really,
you know what? I'll take that back. Well, once everybody like kind of realized what was happening, they did pick it up, and luckily the song was only 2 chords, so it was an easy groove.
Okay,
and they were able to do it. But it's like you can't do that to people.
No, you
cannot.
Wow.
So
no, somebody better not, because No.
What if I didn't remember the words? Like, you don't know how long it's been since I've done that song. Like, anything could have happened.
Anything, if you didn't remember, the whole thing
the key might, like, I might have to take it down when I play live.
It's just any on-the-spot stuff.
Yeah.
Is just not good. Thankfully, there was a track that kind of saved you.
Barely. Because I couldn't hear it.
If you really want to think about it, because you could have lip-synced.
I could have.
But, like, if someone were to be like, if I were at a gig, Zach has an album out. Play Fair Point, bro. I'm not even with my band.
Right.
And even my band hasn't rehearsed. I'm like, bro, like, no. I will sit there and fight it.
Yeah.
I will not.
That was terrible. And I had to tell him after the gig, I was like, after he paid me, of course. I was like,
let's just make sure it goes through. Let me
make sure this check clears. But don't you ever do that again. Like, seriously. You have no idea, like, how terrible that is as the artist, as the person. Like, no. And he was like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. He's like an old head. So he's not really hearing me. But, like, bro, for real. Like, don't ever do that to me or anyone else ever again. And then, you know, a couple of weeks later, he wants to call me and ask me if I considered ever releasing that song again. He's like, I want to reproduce that song. I think we should go in the studio and cut it again. And I'm like, why? No. So, yeah, that was not paying my dues. Built my character up.
I don't think that was a paying your dues thing. I think that was just.
I'm telling you, anything that happens,
it's just all paying
your dues, because you never know. You never know what it's going to be.
How many more dues do we have to pay?
I think you do get to a point where you just stop having to deal with, there's, you know, musicians of a certain caliber, but that's not even really all that true. But, you know, like, you get the same thing with the showcases. Like, you're at a point where you're not going to be in an environment where you have to learn, you know, 12 people's original Sleepy Summer Walker songs. Like, you have transcended that. You're not going backwards. So that's the pain. Like, it's just, it's gradual. It doesn't happen overnight. And I think that it still happens at any level, but the kind of dues that you pay would be different. Like, if you were Herbie Hancock, maybe paying your dues is like, oh, man, they didn't have chicken when in the green room. When I asked for chicken, they gave me steak.
Oh,
like,
okay.
All right, well.
That's a great perspective, though.
There's gonna be that kind of, you're gonna have to deal with some mess at any level, but it's just like, what kind of mess?
Yeah.
So.
I dig. So. This was an interesting transition into it, but I want you to talk about your First Take EP. Like, how did that come about? All self with all you, 100% Kennedy Avery.
Except for the mix. I did not mix. I cannot engineer.
Okay, but I'm
the music
musically,
was me. Yeah.
Musically, it is 100% Kennedy Avery. So tell the people about the EP, like, if they haven't heard it, like, what's the vibe? Like, give just a rundown.
So. First Take is my debut EP that I released on January 21st, 2021.
I see what you did.
That was completely by accident. That was literally just when it hit DistroKid.
Really? Yeah.
Because I wanted to do it, like, I think on my birthday. My birthday's the 29th. And I wanted to make sure I had enough time for it to go through, because you know how sometimes with the release thing, it can be kind of weird.
Just give it some time.
Just give it.
Like, hey, let me just give you a couple of weeks just in case something has to hold it up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was either Bandcamp or DistroKid that just released it prematurely. I'm like, okay, well, I guess it's out here, and it's the 21st. So, hey, guys, it's out. But I did it all during quarantine. So that's kind of why I did it all by myself. And also another situation where people had been saying, like, you need to release your own stuff. I thought about it, but in my mind, I know that I am an artist, but in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, this whole artist thing is just so I can create a catalog so people know what I do, and then I can take it and write for other people, produce for other people. Yeah. But while I don't have these connections, because pre-quarantine, I didn't know anybody out here. Yeah. Like, I think, honestly, you were like one of my first contacts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I don't know how I stumbled across your page, but I didn't really get into the whole networking thing. Yeah. Like, I think I did a mentorship program, and they were like, network. So I just started, that's when I started to try to find people out here. But
I can tell you how we met.
Yes,
I can tell you the story. But
didn't I put you on a gig?
No.
Or didn't I refer you?
That's not how that happened. Oh. I mean, like, you probably did. No. I'm not saying that you didn't do that, but that's not how this happened. Oh. Xavier Davis posted a clip of you playing something, and I'm like, yo, she's dope. Followed you. I was like, yo, you dope.
Okay, cool.
And then we finally met in person.
Right, like 2 years later.
No,
right?
No, it was like a couple months.
Are you sure?
It wasn't that long.
Was it not over quarantine? Did I met you? Or that we were introduced?
I could go back and check receipts.
Because I feel like there was a lot of people I connected with when I was still at home, but I never got to meet until I came back.
Well, remember, because you kind of met Xavier Davidson kind of anonymous. I'm sure you met them before you met me. Or maybe but like, I know, like, I saw you in person, and I was like, oh, shoot, you're Kennedy. I was like, but yeah, that's kind of how it, that's vaguely how it happened. That's vaguely how it happened. Gotcha. But no, like, and then, like, we met, and then, like, but I'm sure you've, I know that you've referred me to some people.
Yeah, I feel like there was
some people to you.
Yeah, there was. I remember there specifically being a situation where there was like a moment during quarantine where everybody was calling me for stuff, but I wasn't here. I was
you're still
in Illinois, so I was trying to find. But again, my network wasn't very large. I'm like, okay, who do I know that plays keys? Oh, Zach. I just met this guy. He's good. Let's give him this. So I think you were getting all my gigs for a minute because you were like the only keyboard player I knew out here besides Xavier Davis.
I don't know about all of my gigs because a lot of them didn't hit me up.
Oh, well.
Maybe you gave them my number.
I did.
It didn't get back. Did not get back to me. I don't think
I know you were like, it was you and I think it was Nick Bradley.
Well, maybe Nick got him. I don't know Nick, but like they did not get back to me. I did not get an influx of gigs from Kennedy.
All right.
I mean, like, I appreciate
I could have sworn.
But it did. But from you giving them, it did not get back to me.
All right. Well,
I know that fine.
The thought was there.
But anyways, no, that's how we met. So anyways, First Take
was quarantine. Created out of kind of boredom because it's quarantine, it's COVID, and we're not doing anything else. And I'd already had some of those songs, like I'd written lyrics to some time ago, but again, with me in production, it was just one of those things where I kept making music and not doing anything with it. Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of music I have, like, even in high school, that I still think is, like, pretty decent music that I just didn't do anything with.
New EP, August 2023.
Like, there's 2 songs that I have. It's not under my name. It's under, like, my government name that I worked with this producer when I was, like, 12 or 13. He was like the first day he had a studio in his basement. My mom would again every Sunday after church. This was this was before the jazz improv. Yeah. After church, I would go to this guy's studio, Alex. Shout out Alex. We would cut records. I would be in there like all day. Yeah. And we just had that, and we dropped 2 songs, and then that was the end. That was like 12. Gotcha. But so First Take was just, like I said, I was out of boredom, and people were saying I need to release some music, and I'm like, all I got is time. So I just did it. That's the only real way. It's kind of like a blur to me. Like, I just know that it happened. Yeah. I don't really remember the process. The only thing I know is that I did the entire thing literally sitting on my bed, like this. I had the microphone just right here. The computer was on. On the bed, and there was so many times where it overheated. Oh wow. Because it would just be on the blanket, like, just that's how I would cook up and do everything just literally from my bed. And then I once I got to a point where I'm like, okay, I might be able to do something with this, is when I called my boy Eric Kane. He's a rapper out here, and he's also an engineer. And he mixed it for me. But really, even when he mixed it, like, we had conversations back and forth every single day, like, pan this a little bit over, because I have some knowledge of mixing, but it's just not enough to drop it. Yeah. So I know where I want things, and like the kind of what's the word, like timbre I want stuff to have, but I just didn't know how to execute. Like compression, what is that? Right. I'm not an engineer either. I can't do it. So he helped me mix it, and then I just dropped it. Like, I didn't have anything. It was, the goal in mind was just to have something to show for who I am, what I do outside of playing keys, because that was really the first time I decided that I was going to put myself out there, and I realized what it was going to take. Yeah. Especially not being in Atlanta to meet the people and do the networking thing. I'm like, I just have to release content. So then I got into that habit, I guess, of making videos for Instagram and producing more, and just content. That's the name of the game, just content. That was what it was for, and to show people that I can write, I can produce, I can sing, I can do anything that you ask, and this is how it sounds if I were to do that. So
there we go.
That was First Take.
Y'all go grab that.
Yeah.
Top 3 keyboard players, national keyboard players, and then top 3 keyboard players you know.
Top 3. Let me think. Nationally, okay. So gotta put Rob up there. Robert Glasper. Different. Yeah. Different guy. What's J3PO?
J3PO.
Yes.
He's on the list. I'm gonna try to get him on there. I feel
like
that's attainable. I feel like that's attainable.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I saw he was in Marcus Miller's band, right?
Yes.
Did you see that?
I did. I wasn't at the show.
Oh man.
But I know.
Bro.
I think I found out about him over quarantine because him and Nick Sinmarad, who plays with Corey, did that.
Okay.
But J3PO, yes. Julian Pollock.
Yes. I'm like, why can I think of his name? I always think of people as their Instagram names. Like, I never know their actual names. So you're like Zach Wilson on Keyz. I'm Zach W. What is it?
No, that's it. It's Zach W. Keyz.
Yeah,
I
Zach
appreciate that you know that it's Zach Wilson on Keyz and not like Zach with Keyz. I'm like, no. Like, my name is Zach Wilson.
Nah, I got you.
And like, I'm a keyboard player because I can't just do Zach Wilson. Because apparently there's someone else out there.
There's another Zach Wilson on Keyz?
I don't know if he's necessarily on Keyz, but I'm like, there's the football player Zach Wilson. And then
that's right. He told that story.
but like, no, I like, so Zach W. And like, I play Keyz. So like, it just makes sense. No one has in the name.
Right.
And I kept it
Zach W. So I think of people as their Instagram name. So yeah, Robert Glasper, Julian. Who would take that third spot? Herbie.
Is it good?
It's Herbie.
It's a good third slot.
It's Herbie. I mean.
Yeah.
Locally.
Yeah.
T. Lee.
Absolutely.
Different. Phil
Davis.
Yeah. Phil Davis. I love his sound. The breath controller thing changes the game. Like, I don't know if you've heard any of his stuff, but if you ever turn on WCLK and you hear a breath controller, just know it's always Phil. Like,
does he have albums out under his name?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got it. All right, I got to dig.
Bro,
I'm gonna dig.
Bro.
I'm gonna dig it. Okay, yeah.
Bro. Because he was touring with Rochelle Farrell for a little bit. I know he did some stuff with George Howard back in the day.
Okay, yeah. You know, last week was the first time I actually met him.
That's crazy.
That's the first time I had seen him before, but it was like a jam session, but like a continuous jam session, and like I didn't like introduce. I didn't.
He
lays
pretty low
him.
now. Yeah, I feel like he lays pretty low, but just because he's my teacher, I feel like I've got all the tabs on him. But yeah, so he's so
T. Lee, Phil
Davis. Who gets the number 3 spot? Man, Louis Haribo.
Ooh.
Man.
He
plays
cold.
in his sleep. You know that? Like, he plays in his sleep. I did a gig with him one time. Like, he's so good. We used to do Rays on the River in Sandy Springs all the time. I would sing. It was a trio thing. So he would play piano, bass, acoustic bass, and it was like straight ahead. Mm-hmm. Super cool gig. Free food there. I love Rays. Shout out Rays on the River.
Every gig that musicians do, we need it. If it's at a restaurant,
gotta have free food. Come on,
guys. Like, let's.
It's 2023.
Like, let's do it. The half off is cool. I do prefer the half off over like
full price.
Like, yeah, I do prefer that. But I'm like, it's come on, guys.
It's
feed the band.
Come on.
The band.
Yeah, because we're bringing people in. Like, you're gonna make this back.
Come on now.
You're gonna make this back.
You'll be all right.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
But yeah, so I used to do gigs with him Friday nights at Ray's, and he would take these super extended solos. Mm-hmm. And I would look over, and his eyes are closed. Like, you know, your eyes can be closed, but like, it looks like he's sleeping. Like, he's not here, but his hands just move because he's just that nice. Like, he doesn't even think about it.
That's crazy.
And his approach to improvisation, like, I just love the way he plays. So I think those are my top 3.
That's a good list.
What are your top 3?
Top 3 locally.
Yeah.
T. Lee is there. Larry Wilson.
Yeah.
Is there. Probably Tyrone Jackson, my teacher. Probably.
I haven't heard enough of him. I only heard him a couple of times at some jams. Did you ever go to the jam at Relapse with Tony and Terrence?
I never. No. I never made it there. I know. Yeah, that was short-lived, but
that was a moment. It was fun too. Like, they had a little vibe going. It was basically everybody that comes to 10, but like plus some.
I wasn't really a jam session person. It took me. That's what
I
would.
That's what I would have. I don't see you.
That's what I would have done differently in college.
More jams.
Go to
that's
jam
all
session.
I
did. I would have done more of that. I should have. But
my parents used to get so upset. My dad would call me. I mean, you be around, but like, you're not really around. Like, you come to Havana, and then that's really it. you were at Justice's thing. Like, you're not out. You know,
I'm not
like
out.
You're
bro,
not really out.
I'd be here.
You be out here.
I'd be
Oh,
here.
you be at the crib.
I'd be here.
Listen.
If I'm not working, I'd be
and I got to that point because I was doing the absolute most my senior year because I mean, honestly, like the guys, when I say Anonymous
the band,
they really kind of just brought me into the mix. They showed me around. And so once I got my footing, I was at backstage every Wednesday, 10 every Monday, whatever it was, I was there. Because I'm just like, I've never experienced anything like this coming from this little tiny farm town in Illinois. Like, these jams are so fire.
It's a great time. It's a great time. It's a great meetup. It really is. Which is why I try to do a little bit more. I still need to make it to 10. But like,
got to. Oh man.
But it's it's dope.
Yeah. So it was to a point where I was doing like too much. It was almost starting to interfere with school, but I never let it slip. Never let that GPA slip. But my parents would call me like at Wednesday, 10 o'clock on a Wednesday. I should be at the crib studying in the dorm, but I'm at backstage.
Backstage. Shout out to Stefan Stone.
Shout out to Soulful Distance Band.
Soulful Distance and
Shout
Stefan
out
Stone.
John
Yeah, bro.
And Darnell Hood for backstage because they really put me on too. I love backstage. But yeah, it got to a point where I was just everywhere. And then Phil, once again, he was like, you know what? It's sometimes better to not be seen all the time because it's like it kind of looks like you don't have anything going on. Not for me. I'm a student, so it's like, what are you really expecting out of me? But it gets to a point where it's like, okay, she's here, and she's gonna be here.
Dang, she's here all the time. You ain't got nothing to do.
Chaz Shepard, he told me one time at backstage, he was like, you know what? I love coming to backstage because I always know Kennedy Avery's gonna be up in there. I'm like, I don't know if
I'm like, oh, thanks.
But people appreciate the dedication, which is really what it was. I was like so determined to just make my way around and connect with everyone because Anonymous, they're so well connected and they keep just keep bringing people into the fold, and I'm trying to get in the mix. I'm like, I got to get in the mix. I need to get my own network up. So I did that like heavy my senior year, and then once I graduated, like I did not go out for 3 months.
Hey.
And people were Justice, like, you know it's bad when Justice is asking like, where are you at?
Hey, where you at? Yeah.
He's like, man, Kennedy never leaves the house. She's always at the crib.
That's funny.
Always at the crib. I'm like,
That's
look,
funny,
I'm tired.
That's funny.
But yeah, I love the jam culture. I'm gonna call it jam culture. I love it.
Jam culture, jam session culture.
It has its pros and cons, but
that's a whole separate podcast.
We should talk about that jam culture. You should definitely touch on that.
If you how much time you got? If you want to talk about it, we can talk about it.
I really need to go I don't want to get caught in the traffic.
Okay, gotcha. So. I'm keep 10 more minutes. 10
cool.
Minutes. Okay, super group. It could be your own party, or it can be like a show, but you have to build a super group of keys, bass, drums, guitar, horns if you want to, but that four, and then lead vocals.
Are these people that I know?
No. This is unlimited budget. This is anybody who you could think of. They are available for this show or for this party or whatever you want to.
Keys, drums, bass, and guitar. So.
And then if you want to do a horn section, you can do aux. If you want to do aux, you can do aux.
Got you.
But also a vocalist.
All right, and a lead vocalist. Okay, so the easiest thing to start with, I would say my lead vocalist is going to be Layla Hathaway. It was between her and Jasmine Sullivan, but I'm thinking Layla Hathaway has a little bit more versatility.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with Layla Hathaway. She is the singer. On drums. Who's on drums? Dead or alive? You have to be alive?
Preferably alive.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to take Stokely on drums.
Ooh, interesting pick. Interesting pick. All right. Yeah.
Because he's just different. I don't know. I really like the way he plays. Every Mint Condition record, it's just, you can tell when it's him, and I like his sound. So Stokely's on drums. Who's on bass? Adam Blackstone is on bass. He's the MD, of course.
Okay, yeah. I was like, is he just playing or
no,
he's
he's leading the band of Stokely and Layla Hathaway and himself on the bass. And guitar, man. I don't know too many guitar players, which is terrible because I love guitar. But I would say probably let me come back to guitar.
Okay.
Keyz, we got. Honestly, I would take Teely on Keyz. Yeah. Because he's got, again, versatility.
Absolutely.
Dexterity.
Mm-hmm.
Need that. I'll just throw Good Times horns. Throw them on.
Isaiah put Good Times horns on his.
Yeah.
On his,
just throw them on there. Melvin and all the, So.
That's so funny. That's cool though. Yeah.
Because, they're just those guys. Like, they are. Yeah. Because who else are you calling if not Good Times horns? Shout out Good Times horns.
Shout out to them. But there are also other word players.
Yeah, you're right.
But
you're right. But
if you can get them, if you can get them. But hey, we have a lot of other good horn players too.
This is true.
But they are definitely the top. They are definitely the top.
They are the top. So I'm just gonna throw them in there because you can't go wrong with that.
So Good Times, Stokely,
Adam
Blackstone, Teely, Layla Hathaway. No guitar?
I can't think of a guitar player to save my life right now.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. But if I had to, who's like really, really good on guitar? Somebody who's really, really good. Why can't I think of anyone?
If you can, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like no pressure.
It escapes me. But I think that's the lineup. That's my roster.
Got you. Last thing. What do you want to leave the people with? It can be words of motivation, wisdom, something that you just want to get off your chest. All of the other ones have been good. So let's not make it like a ranty thing. I'll keep it there.
If you can believe it, you can achieve it. No.
Yeah. Hey.
Honestly, one thing I would leave with the people is quite honestly, just really keep going. Whatever that is, it doesn't have to be like music. Just keep going. Because I get it. I'm at this point, I tell people this now. Because now that I've graduated, I went through a little period. I call it a quarter life crisis, so to speak, where it hit me yo, I'm a quarter of the way through my life. I'm here in adulthood. This is it. This is the rest of my life. What am I going to do with the next 50, 60 years that I have? The worst thing I feel like people can do is stop or stand still or get complacent, get comfortable. So I think if nothing else, if we can be okay with not being okay, being uncomfortable, and continuing to move through that, then honestly, that's it. That's really it. Doesn't matter how fast or where you end up. It's you just have to keep moving, because the worst thing you can do is stand still. And I felt like I came to a standstill, and once you get to that point, I felt like I was going crazy. I felt like I was losing my mind. And I think that as humans, we need to have something to do, something to live for. And so you can't really do that if you're just sitting around. Right. So find something to do.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say. Find something to do. There's plenty to do.
I got you.
I
got you. Socials,
you can follow me on Instagram @ Kennedy Avery. I'm not really present on any of the other ones. You can find my music, Kennedy Avery. First Take is the name of the EP if you want to check that out.
I was going to plug it again. I was like, y'all make sure y'all grab First Take. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Major Keyz podcast with Kennedy Avery.
Woo-woo.
Keep pressing on. See you next time.
Peace out.